All right, welcome back. Let's get started. So today, as promised, I'm going to go over a little bit more in depth the projects that you need to create. We went over line and what is line, line and design. That's our main focus this week. I want, I want to see like so rad examples where line, like you see it all over the place in these examples, and they're out there. Plenty of examples out there where line is the number one thing used in that design to like create it. So make sure you do that. Opening up week one, because there's one I could gloss over. Textbook, you know what to do. I'm not going to relay over too much on the textbook. Read the chapter on form storming and tell me what you thought about it. That's what it is. It's easy peasy, one and done. So you got that nailed. Not much to do there. So I'm going to go back up. I'm going to talk about the research and how to make a little presentation. I'm going to talk about the line project and maybe hopefully give you more knowledge about like how to brainstorm for this and what to think about. And I'll do a couple sketches. Won't take long. And I'll go over the design practice again, because thank goodness this morning we got all this AI and font issues, I think, cleared up. And so if fonts weren't pulling through the way they're supposed to now, and we're all excited. So it should work out well. Research. Got to make a little presentation. I'm going to show you how to do it in Google Slides. Why is that? Because everybody's got Google Slides. It's sponsored by MATC. It's in your account. Where do you go? These 9 dots will open up a whole set of items for Google. And Google Slides is just like PowerPoint. I personally dislike PowerPoint. And they're so similar, right? Okay. PowerPoint and Google Slides are very similar, but here Google Slides saves it on the cloud. Every time you do one, it just automatically saves it. You just have to download. You don't have to worry about anything. It's far easier to work in, and it's fun. It's somewhat fun. Now, the first thing, when I click on blank presentation, if you look to the right, there's themes. One, have fun with this, all right? Everybody, I always get this one. Everybody, for some reason, goes 3 down and they use this presentation, and I hate it. This one's ugly too. But you're like, well, this is what they said for themes. Like I'm just going to pick what's there. Oh, guess what you can do? If you type in Google Slide templates into the internet, there are a ton of like super cool, like free PowerPoint and Google Slide templates that you can use, and you can download. And like you just type in, like go with your favorite color. Like blue. I like blue. What do they got? Like, and then you just start kind of playing around and see what's out there. I have never ever game. Okay. App deck. Maybe you want the blue ocean. Maybe use the ocean one for the Photoshop one. But like dig around organic shapes design. And then learn how to export camera from PPT. I don't want it in Canva. I want it in Google Slides. So I'm going to go back to, but dig around. That's like a lot of the way that you learn as a designer is it's not handed to you, but you're like, I want something better. I'm going to go to Slides Mania and I'm going to see if there's like a cool one that I can download for Google Slides, and you do it, happy summer come, close that ad, watch out for weird stuff, and, play around. So check things out. Where do I have to go? No. Open in Google Slides. Use template. And then it's going to open it for me. So play around, try some other stuff out, and then look, it has all these for you that you can edit and change and delete. Like, however you want to do it. So know that there's more out there than just on this side here to go with. So just know that. You can do whatever you want. I don't know why I'm keeping on this ugly one. Now, the other one is like, it always opens with the title presentation, right? This is the title, and this is Elements Line. You can change the font, you can make it however you want, and then your subtitle could be like all the, username, who am I, all that stuff you want. Not know. You know what I mean? So you put that in. Whatever I typed in made it very exciting. So that would be my cover. Now, if you go to the plus, it's just going to add a new slide, right? But if you go to the arrow, you can see which ones you may want to add and how. So if I'm adding like an image and one word, I'm looking on here and just, first time around. We're going first time around. I'll take this one. Title, and this is, line examples. And again, I'm doing this. These need to get more and more exciting throughout the semester, but I understand it's your first rodeo. We're going to take our time with this. All right, so my line examples. Now I went out and I found 3 examples. I need to be able to place them into my slideshow. So I'm going to go, and there's this little picture, and it's got a mountain on it. And that's supposed to represent a photo. So I want to insert an image. And I'm going to upload from my computer. If you're savvy, you can upload from Google Photos or from Google Drive, however you want to do it. But I'm going to upload from my computer. And I have a folder. I downloaded stuff. I made, I'll show you what I did because you guys should all do it. I made an elements folder. And then in there I have, and then this is where you'll come into a problem. I have my examples. I have a movie. I have a book cover and an album. 2 of them are grayed out. So I'm going to show you what to do to get them ungrayed out so you can place them. Images from the internet come in 1,000 different styles. And now there's like even more and more of these weird ones that won't always import correctly into, say, Google Slides or Illustrator or whatever program you're using. So you just have to change them. And it's very, very easy. You'll just open them in Photoshop and then export them out. So I'm going to place my movie poster. Lay it behind Emmy lines, but look at the lines on it. It's all about the lines. It's got a line texture to it. Now I need to import my other examples. So I need to open up Photoshop. And then I'm going to keep this open because I'm going to use it later. But I'm going to go to File, Open. And I'm going to go to that area where I know I saved it. So I'm going to go on Desktop, Elements. And here, album cover, WebP, and then the book cover still. I'm going to have to see about that. Okay. That was a really cool book cover. So this is my album line. See the lines in there? And now all I have to do is I'm going to go to File, Export As, and I'm going to change the format to a JPEG and export it. And I can save the, and I'm going to make sure I put it in the right spot. I want it Desktop, Elements, Save. Done. Now I'm going to open up. Why can't I get to that book cover? Something happened. All right. So I need a new book cover. And I'm going to see if it remembered my book cover line. Oh, because it was kind of neat. I remember where I went. I'm going to go to History. Ooh, I want more. Just going back, because I looked it up, and so I have it, but I did a lot of other searches in the meantime. I think this is it. This was it. So somehow I couldn't get this. So the other one, got it. I can take a screenshot. There's several ways to do screenshots. I can try to drag it off. And that worked, dragging it off. I think I did a right click and save image as, and it didn't work. So I dragged it off. See the line and design. And so I'm going to put that into my folder. So I have it. All right, there we go. Solve my problem. Always go back. There's always a way to solve your problems here. All right, so I have this. All right, and then at first I'm going to show you like how to do 3, because we have to label these too. So I'm going to do, I got that one in, and then I'm going to add another image for my computer. I'm going to add the book, and open, and there it is. And then I'm going to add another image from my computer, an album cover, open, there it is. All right. I'm not going to leave this as is. There are so many things that you can do to make this composition better than it is. First, if you look here at the bottom, these aren't aligned. But what I can do is start moving things around, and you'll see highlights, lines come up. See those blue lines at the bottom? Those are telling me, as of now, this image is perfectly spaced between the other 2 images. Oh, well, that's absolutely perfect. I want that. You can get images to the right height. Here, if I just pull it in, it's helping me center the image across. I can do the same here. I want it centered with all the other ones. And I'm looking for all that to show up. We want all, you know, like say this came in and it was that big. Well, I want it to be more coincide with everything. So I'm going by height, and I want this height to match those heights. It clicks in when the height is matched. So use that. You don't want to go and like have this one be like this, and then like this one's over here. And then like we're looking for this exact perfection, and the computer does it for you. Every time I move, that click in happens, excuse me, and you'll see it happen. Blue lines come up, and it's like, that's the same height as the other one. You want to stop there? Yes, indeed, I do. You know, I want to make this space. If I start pulling there, it's telling me that should be centered. And if I bring it in close, all right, I can't get those to match. But what if I move this one? And then it's showing me those bars. I'm like, that's, excuse me, equally spaced. Now I'm going to delete this text box. And you do it by delete. Now I want to add more text because I want to be able to name this movie poster, book cover, and album cover. Because sometimes book covers look like movie posters, and I don't know the difference, and so you're gonna have to label them. But labeling them is I want you to make sure that when you do it, it's centered and it looks good. So I just clicked on those T's and I drew a box, and I can still work with the box and make it the size of that poster. And I'm going to type in movie poster. Now this is called left align. Click on it. Meaning it is to the left side of that menu. I don't know why it's so gappy. There you go. And I can also pull a guide. Pulling a guide is if you go to that ruler and you click and you drag over, you can pull stuff to help you see things better. Because then I can click on this movie poster. Here's the other fun one. I can use my arrow keys. Oh, no, I want the upper. So if the cursor's not blinking, and I'm going to hit the arrow key, and it'll jump it over, and I can move and adjust, or I can do it by hand if I want it perfectly aligned. Or if I want it centered above that. My box should be the exact size of the movie poster. And I'm going to pull a guide. And I'm going to click on that and make sure that this is exactly centered. And then I can click on this again, like click on this and then make the font bigger. So it's just like typing in a Word document. I'll make sure there's nothing over there. And I can increase the size. And there we have it. I have it perfectly centered above the poster, and it looks great. I don't want it, you know, I'm going to see them, and it's going to be like this, and you're going to hear from me. I'm going to be like, it should be perfectly centered, unless they're all offset the exact same amount on each one. So trust the program and take your time. I'm going to copy and paste and pull this above the book. And I'm going to make that smaller. And again, it's sizing for me. And then I'm going to click in here and select, just like any Word document. I hope you know, been typing stuff on a computer at some point in your life. And this is book cover. And I can make sure that these two, nope, see, they're not aligned here, hey? See that? I got to make sure they're aligned. And you can do that. Align horizontally, align center. I right-clicked. So right-clicking brings up some amazing things. So if I right-click, and I'm like, oh, let's do middle. Boom, aligned. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to like squint at the screen and do it. It does it for you. Again, I just clicked, like I clicked and dragged, grabbed both of those, right-clicked, and went to the alignment thing. I can take this book cover and make sure it's not blinking. I'm going to click more on the border, and I'm going to copy paste. And I'm going to bring that above the album, pull that out for album cover. And there we go. They're all nicely spaced here to here to here. I'm also going to watch the edge spacing. So when I say nicely spaced, this graphic is like a graphic. And so this is what I'd call the edge. And this is the edge over here. So I'm making sure that everything is equally spaced. And it's not all, I get this once in a while. Like everything's off to one side, and I'll mention you're like, no, why isn't everything centered? You can so easily make sure everything's centered. You can grab everything. If you had a really plain document, if I click and drag to everything and start to move it, that will make sure everything's perfectly centered. And if I'm slow, it does that. Now everything's perfectly centered on the artboard itself. So it does it for you, is what I'm saying. Use those guides that pop up automatically and have it do it for you. Make sure your spacing's correct. Make sure it's even. Send it in. Send it in. And I will, if you miss something, I'll be like, oh, you know, this is a little off center. My eyes catch that immediately, as do other people's. But I will help you correct it. So that's like one way to do this. You know, and you could do it like, if I have this slide and I copy and paste, I'll get another one and I could be like, oh, you know what? What is it going to look like if I delete this, grab that, you know, grab those two. Let's get this centered. And then maybe, should I make this bigger? No, I made it bigger. That's great. That is so wrong. Okay, in these programs, when you grab an image, if you grab the image, it should quote unquote constrain it. I can make it skinnier. I can make it fatter. You should never, ever do that. Always go from the corner and make sure it constrains it. If you grab two things at once, like I did, and you pull this, it's not going to constrain it unless I hold down Shift, and then it will constrain it. I will bust you when I see, you know, a movie poster that's like that. I'll be like, you squished the movie poster. Why'd you squish the movie poster? And the general answer is, I wanted to make it fit. Well, that's not the way to make it fit. You make it fit by going from the corner and making the entire thing smaller. It's not about getting images to fit in a space. It's putting an image in a space, but keeping the image correct. You know, like, oh, I want it to fit on this slide. So I did this. You know, like, I wanted it to fill up the slide. Well, that ain't right at all. But it fills the whole slide. Well, no, it shouldn't then. If we want it to fill the slide, then we go with this, we move this over here, we grab this by a corner, and we grab this by a corner. And there, that fits the slide. And it looks great. And then we get this centered. Now, another thing is margins. Talk about margin. Margin is the space between like the image and the edge. Give yourself a good amount of margin, okay? Don't put things right there. That makes people nervous and uncomfortable. There's no reason for things to be like just on the edge of something. Like, no. Give it room. Give it some space. Let it breathe. We call it like let it breathe. Like, oh, it's white space. It's let it breathe. Do another one, you know. And once you start doing this, it's easy. I'm just going to click on that, delete. Click on that upper part, delete. Why is it doing that? Because kind of like one click is clicking in to type. See the blinking cursor, but I have to click above it or on one of the nodes. There you go. You know, movie poster. I want to move this, 2 clicks, get it centered. Oh, here's the other one, yeah, too. So then I'm going to make sure this is centered. Come on, we're there. Whoop. And then I'm going to pull the corner. I'm going to pull a corner. I can double check that it's centered then if I want. Now, I'm going to click from one slide to the next. What's jumping? See how my text is jumping? Here's the way to fix that. I take the one I like more, say it's this one, and I'm going to hit copy. Make sure it's not blank. Copy. And then I'm going to take this one. I'm going to hit delete, and I'm going to hit paste. When you copy and paste from one page in Google Slides to the next, it places it in the exact same spot. Look at that. See how book cover doesn't change now? That's how you do that. And then I just type in here instead of book cover, call it, you know, movie poster. Now it's going to move, but it doesn't move. It's in the exact same line. And so it's not distracting. And so I look for that because you're going to export a PDF. And when I go through your PDF and I see everything jumps, even if this was like you thought you visually had that centered, and I go from one to the next, and I'm like, why is that one moving over? It should just be centered. Just get it centered. There you go. They may be a different size, but fundamentally, these are all perfectly aligned from page to page to page. And that's what I'm looking for. That you're going to start realizing, like centering things and aligning things. It doesn't take long. I'm extending this. I'm talking for a half an hour about how to make things sure things are aligned. But it's important because this translates into all the other programs you're going to use in Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop. They all have these align tools, and you move things and get it where you want. We're no longer sloppy high school presentation makers where it just didn't matter, and you could have like shit over here, then you had that stuff over here because you were in a hurry. Nope, not anymore. We've graduated. That's centered. That's where it was. I click from one to the other, and there we are. Then when you're done, you're going to save this, and it's, I think that's the name, underscore, and then one, if I could spell right. All right, so that's saved. So now I have this, and Google is saving it it's already saved. If I move away from this, I'll close this. And then I go to my Google Drive. It is, oh, that's the wrong one. Why did it save it in there? Eep. There it is. I opened that up. Phew, good thing I didn't lose it. It saved it for me. I knew what the name was. Then to upload, I'm going to go to File, Download, PDF. It did it over there. Boo, 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 boo. Fires it off, puts it in my downloads. It's named correctly. Before I upload it, hear that? Before I upload it, I'm going to open it. And I want to see what it looks like. And I'm going to use my arrow key and page through it. And I'm going to look for mistakes myself before I upload it. Do things jump? Nope. I think I can send that in. And then this was an example, like you do 3 on 1 page or whatever. But how does it look? When I click back and forth, does it read right? Oh, here's another one. And then you upload. You close it, and then I'm satisfied, or you go back and you fix something. I think this one does it. Edit. Tools. You might want to go to tools and spelling and spell check. Novels, just in case. We always misspell once in a while. I do. You might want to spell check. It's under tools, spelling, spell check, easy peasy. So there we are. That's how to use Google Slides. Again, it almost does it for you. So, but if you have the problems with the photos, open it in Photoshop, double check how you downloaded. As I said, Tuesday, make sure you're selecting large files, so it's not like this tiny pixelated thing that we can't see what's happening. Make sure all your examples are line-based. Else I will question it. I'll be like, why do you? And if you don't get back to me or correct it, you're going to get a lower grade. Like if I'm like, why do you think that's line? I don't see a single line in this piece. And when I say line, I don't expect cartoon. This is close to the edge, but I mean, this is literally a single line drawing. It's contour line drawing. That's what they're called. Cool. All right, next up. Lines. Now I went, and it's really light on here. And we got to draw with line. I'm going to do drawings. And you can do this in Illustrator. You can use the brush tool. You can do it by hand. You can use the pen tool. Practice a little bit. All right? Practice. Don't just be give it a one-shot wonder. Practice. Here's the other one. This is fun, quick work you can do on your own and on a piece of paper first. You're watching TV. Just, have the TV on, get a piece of paper, and draw a square. You're like, oh, you know what? Because my word is bored. This show is boring. Beep. Right there. One line, it shows boredom. Do I leave it at that? No, I want to play around. This game, I went from this last time. What do I, this is really boring, right? That's showing I'm so bored, I just fell off the edge of the cliff, How does that line make you feel? Another one, what about it's boredom, the flat line? Going across, oh, I'm so bored. But then it levels out. That might be all right. And then I thought about this. And when I said thought about this, I don't know if you can see I have light lines behind it. I did these earlier, but I did these in like a couple minutes. And this translates to Illustrator then. You drew it out really quickly in a pen and paper, and then you know like, oh, I want this to be in that program. I already did it once. I know how to do it. But I was like, what? I took my boredom line, and then I was like, what if I make a bunch of these? You know? And I was coming up with ideas. This idea generation on a piece of paper with a pen or a pencil while you're sitting there costs nothing. And it's making you smarter. The more you come up with these, oh man, I could sit probably with another instructor here, Craig, and we could probably sit together and in a half an hour have like 100 of these drawn and be laughing and being like, what about this for board? Blah, and making jokes. And like, that's where this comes from. The more you do it, the more creative you get, the better things get. And another one where I was thinking, you know, like, what if I in the room or like far away? I don't know what was making me like think like far away. Like there's my board line. It's a line. And it's like going off in the distance. It's going off to infinity, you know? And then I was like, oh, if I add another line to it, then it's like I'm stuck in the corner of a room, you know? I didn't do much. And I could go back and I could adjust that. And be like, what if I, you know, like a little less severe. There's my boredom. How's that boredom? It's the corner of a room. Drawn with 3 lines. There we are, you know? Play around. Do more than one. Like, you can do it in the computer. I find like doing it like this much more, you know, fun and free, and then I know which one I want to translate it across to the program. So try things out. Do more than one. Think about it. I mean, you do 6 of these. Each one is different. I take board. I think it's one of the harder ones to do. Oh, and then going back, because I've seen this, and I think it stopped some people. Like no relating. I want lines. I want abstract. I don't want any sort of like, well, I'm gonna make this. It doesn't close. That's a line. And then I have another line, and then I have another line, and that's my happy. You made a face. You're not fooling anybody. I want you to think abstract. I don't want imagery. That's an image. Think abstract. There's sort of no wrong to the abstract part, but there is wrong when you start representing an image over just the thought of what a line can portray. What a single line can you draw a single line in such a way that somebody would cry? Probably. You could. There is feeling in line. And that's what I want you to get across. And so like this is an image. Well, no, but it's 4 lines. Instructor? It's 4 lines. No, you're just kind of like, you're not thinking beyond, you know? Not thinking. And I don't want to do it because I took a hard one because I start doing, then I get copies of what a line would be. But think about that, you know? It is very abstract. It is very weird. I know. You're like, I know some students, this is like so dumb and so weird, but it's pushing you to think beyond just the normal setup. Did I download this? I'm going to open up that file. I'm not going to look at any yet. All right. So again, go over this because we're all new to Illustrator, and I don't want people to freak out again. Not freak out. Everybody ends up doing great on this, so it's doable, and you have so much time. All right. The main one to pay attention is these layers on your right-hand side. They are marked, they are color-coded and marked like examples, turn off or delete. So to turn it off, you can just hit the eyeball. All right. Green means go. I did that on purpose. You really only need to deal with the green boxes. And happy to say that for some of you, the font wasn't coming in correctly. It should now populate correctly. IT took this class and the Photoshop class and resubmitted stuff to Adobe. It will show up as these nice bold font. It should. All right, if you send it to me, I'll be like, why? Can you double check? Make sure you open Adobe Creative Cloud first so it downloads the font when you open the file. It'll do it for you. And it might take a couple minutes, but it should work. So learn these files and learn layers. I get tons of them where somebody unlocked the margin, started doing, board, and I'm doing bad ones. I'm purposely doing, and then I did sad, like whatever. And they're like, perfect. And you go to file and you go to export as, and I'm going to show you, oh no, this one is save as, excuse me. It says it correct in the directions. File, save as, and I'm going to save to my computer, and I'm going to save into there, and I want the format to be a PDF. And I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to make sure this box is selected. View PDF after saving. Because if you don't, you're like, yeah, I did it, and then you hit save PDF, and you upload it, but look, none of your stuff showed up because you drew it in a layer that you weren't supposed to. Well, how come my stuff's not showing up? Well, because in the instruction it says, work only in the green layer, all right? And that's why. And if you don't check your PDF and you resend it, then I got to be like, looks like you didn't do it correctly. Did you open this? Did you open that? And I'll find people have done like 3 in the margin layer and on the white cover and forgot to delete my examples. It should be fairly simple. Green means go. And then for the type tool is like anything else. That type tool, and you should just be able to select this and just type in board. And don't do anything else. Don't move them. Don't adjust them. You just select that type and to type happy. And I'm going to do sad. But what I'll do is I'm going to erase this stuff. And here's the big one. If you mess up, stop, delete it, throw it away, re-download the file again. Don't keep working in a broken file. If for some reason you move things around and you weren't supposed to, just stop, delete it, download a new one, and start again. Each time you make corrections like that, you become faster and more proficient in the program. And I'm not kidding. Old man story. Back in the day when I, working as, art director, computers would shut down on you in the middle of projects all the time. You'd just be working and they'd freeze. And you hadn't saved. And you'd be like, oh my God, I've been working 3 hours on a project and I didn't save because I was in the zone and I was doing so good and the computer froze. Okay, you restart your computer, you open it up, and that second time around, because you knew what you did, you are much faster. Oh, I remember I did this and I did this and I did this and I did this, and you can burn through it because that ideation part is out of it. So if you run into a problem, you're just typing some words and making some lines, do it again. But make sure you're doing it right. Make sure you're only working in green layers. Make sure you're turning off the red layer. So then your artwork here, I'm selected on it, board, I have my board there, and happy is again this, sad is this. Please think beyond those. Think beyond those. Then when I go to File, Save As, and I'm saved in my computer, and I go to Save in PDF, Save. Oh, yes, I do want to replace that first one that I did it all in the wrong layer. And then it's going to automatically open because I have it there. Save PDF. That's exactly what I want to hand in. And then I know that file works. I close it and I can hand in that file. So always double check your work before you hand it in. You'd be amazed how many times I get blank screens. I'm like, what? You didn't even look at your work. You just thought it was done and it wasn't. So make sure you do that. Have some fun. Play around. Learn like the brush tool. Learn this pen tool. Straight lines and the pen tool. Woo, so great. You know, sometimes if you click over here, I found somebody's like, it wasn't clicking off. Just hit enter when you're done. You know, I got the Z. And how do I get rid of that thing? Just hit enter, return, enter, and it'll go away. Try stuff out. Like open this and then scribble and dabble until you're comfortable. Close it, open it again. Practice. Do this more than once. This is what you're learning how to use for your career. If you're like the one, like, boom, got it done. I did 6, done, and I got it done in 10 minutes, and then I'm just gonna go and play video games the rest of the time. You had 15 minutes of experience, or somebody had like an hour of experience. Who in the end is gonna be doing better design work? The one who spent an hour and not 15 minutes. And for a lot of this, when I'm designing, I can't do it when I'm doing don't worry, I don't do this when I'm correcting your assignments. But if I'm working on design work for the classes and I'm building out a project and I'm in a repetitive design mode, I put a movie on in the background and I put it on, you have this audio setting for movies where it will speak everything that's going on. It's like an audio book. And I have that on the side and I'm working away and I, just never really looking at the movie, but I get in and listening to it, or you have your music on and just get into it. Turn off all that other BS. Just get into it. Like sit and design. But I do movie design, like designing with movies or TV shows on the background all the time. I like to have something like being here. MATC blocks Spotify, so I can't listen to music. I wish I could. I would have it on in the background. I need something on the background. But just get lost and spend more time than you think. You're watching a movie at the end of the night, get a piece of paper, do some sketches. You don't have to be in front of the computer. Or if you got your laptop there, try it out. Sit at the table, sit somewhere comfortably, raise your laptop up off the table to eye height, and then sit at a table with the TV, beyond you, and you can watch your TV. You watch the Kardashians. I don't care. But you can kind of do both at once. Enjoy it. It should be enjoyable. And then the best part is when you lose time. And you'll be like, oh, my God, the show's over? Wow, I didn't realize. Like, that's so great. I designed for an hour and didn't even realize it. Like, that's getting lost in design is amazing. All right, final thing. File, open. I want to go on my computer. And I got that placement file. Desktop. Elements. David Carson. Open. Again, these labels are all here for you to know what's on every layer. The text block. Oh, where's the text blocks? Oh, these white blocks are the text blocks. All right, good. I know that. The examples here. Like they're all on different layers. Know them. Don't change them. All I want you to do is simply move them. If you end up grabbing something and then you're like, oops, and you do it more than undo right away. I don't want any changes in the design. I want you to learn how to just move stuff, know where to grab it. You're just grabbing stuff. You're grabbing and moving. And you're going to work from the foreground. Don't put this down first because then it blocks everything else. And as you can see, I have things in here, the margins, bleed, it's called, margins, bleed. Like, get everything to line up. If it's supposed to be bottom on the margin, make sure when you move it, it's on the bottom of the margin. Get things to line up. Zoom in. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to look at that. How close? You know, I've done design where I'm zoomed in at, this is 1,286% of actual size. But I want this exact. Perfection. Boom. You know? And this is purposely fuzzy. Like, these are all built like this because I, don't want you to fake me out. Then I get this. I'm going to grab this. Click and drag. And where do I want it? You know what? I'm going to double check it. I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to make sure it's like, yeah. Yep, that's perfectly aligned. Perfect. I want these to be really good. You're moving 7 objects. You're learning about layers. You're moving 7 objects around. And then you're going to save this as a PDF and a AI file. I believe you're doing both. And you're uploading both. Because I want to see what you did. I want to see if you collapsed stuff by mistake. Why is David not look like David? Why does he look sickly? Well, I mistakenly did that. Then throw this file away, download again, and start over. Like, it's as simple as that. We really think like things are super precious when we're doing design, and they're not. It's just some pixels, some lines, and some thought. Do it again. And you know what? The second time's always better than the first time. I've never run into that case where I'm like, man, I wish I had it from the first version. It was way better. It's always the second time you do it becomes better. You do it again, it becomes better. It's called versioning, and it's something that happens all the time. You'll work with clients, and you'll send them something, and that's called version 1. And they're going to have changes, and then their changes are going to, they're going to say, can you change this, 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 and this? And then you have to change other things, and then together that makes it look even better. And then you make more changes and revisions, and then you'll just get into it. But it's not precious. It's like, yeah, if you screw something up, delete it, restart, refresh. Don't keep pounding at the same thing over and over and over. You're like, I can't fix this one thing. Just start over. You can do it. So there we are. Questions, comments, concerns? All right. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing stuff. I will get on the boat and start checking all these blue marks on my side. Get back to you as soon as I can. I will do midweek project reviews first before I grade. So I'll probably do those today and then do everything tomorrow. Today was just a long day with getting computers fixed and all those problems. So thank you. Can't wait to see what you come up with. And I'll see and talk to you on Tuesday unless you have questions, comments, and concerns, and then reach out to me and I'll talk to you sooner. All right, thanks.